Let's begin.
How to be really open to receive in every sense of the word. Because I catch myself when I say I'm open, but then I see that really in my actions it's not like that. That's my question.
You know, the thing is, you have to start saying yes. Even if you have resistance, you have to start saying yes. Because the only way to break old habits which is a place of control, because that's all it is just to say yes. And if it provokes stress, move the stress, but keep opening. Because the nature of life, the universe, energy, is it's cyclic. It moves like this. And it needs to move. You need to flow. It's not linear. It's always like this. And you have to let go of the idea that it's special. Because it's just energy. There's nothing special. You deserve to receive it. You deserve to give it. It needs to be constant. And then you can learn to give unconditionally and receive unconditionally. I'm sure it's easy for you to give because it gives you a sense of control. But there's some fear when you receive that you owe something or you don't deserve it or whatever. It's just programs, no? Everyone has different programs. But if you're in consciousness, if you're loving yourself, you just allow the natural flow. And everything unfolds perfectly. You know, the ideal situation is to stop thinking. You know, everyone's always thinking, am I doing it right? Am I doing it wrong? Am I growing? What's wrong with me? I'm not open to receive. Oh, I'm not open to give. Oh, I'm not loving myself. You know, this isn't a philosophy. It's not an isism. It's an experience of love. This system's love. You becoming the love. You know, it's like nature. It vibrates in love. There isn't a system. It just flows and moves and changes, receives, gives. Everything receiving and giving all the time. That's how nature exists. It's only humans that build dams. Only humans. So just knock the walls down and start to flow.
How to stop feeling sadness for self and to let go of the role of the victim.
Stop judging it. Just feel everything and let it go. And get back into the moment. What takes you into the victim? Your thoughts. Yeah, it's not that it's there. You start thinking about it. And now I feel sad. Because there's judgments, there's expectations, there's ideas of how I should be. And you have to be more capable of flowing with your emotions, without judgment. We suffer because we judge. And then we have a list of words. oh, I'm being a victim. Who taught you that? Me. But the thing is, all humans are victims. It's not bad. It's something that you're going to change. Okay, you're going to evolve. In order to be divine, you have to be 100% human. So when you see the thoughts, you've used a facet. But the thing is, you have to laugh more. You know, I was saying that to some of my students today, my older students, no? I said, can't you just bloody have fun? You know, it's all very focused. And you have to be more innocent. You know, and you're in a process of healing. Great, but stop judging it. You know, you're suffering. You're sad. You know, every time it rains, it's not a hurricane. It's just rain. And we need rain. You need to cry. But it becomes a hurricane. Oh, and then, oh, I'm depressed. When am I not going to be depressed anymore? Like, stop dramatizing everything. Just allow. Because there's nothing wrong. This is a very confronting system. You know, it's pulling everything out. What would take 20 years, you're doing in one. It's very quick. It's like boom, 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 boom. And what happens? You empty, and then you have a new perspective, a new vision of life. You're enjoying it. You're looking through new eyes. You're understanding yourself. This is complete transformation. You know, it can't just be like this. There is an aspect of being present, of knowing self, of evolving, of changing, of loving. It's a process, but it's your process. And it doesn't look like her process or his process. It's your process. This is another thing. Don't compare. Stop comparing. Everyone's different. Everyone looks different. Yeah? Good.
It's about the root stress. And many times I hear here to the students to talk about root stress.
That's another issueism. The victim and the root stress. All humans, every human on the planet has a root stress. What is the root stress? The abandonment of self and the creation of fear. All children do that. That's how they go into duality. Because when they're born, they don't have fear. They have need, but they're automatic, no? If children are hungry, they cry. But it comes from a place of innocence and instinct and their complete vibration of love. Completely empty, vibrating in love consciousness, behaving through instinct. Okay, and then at some point, as we start to develop our intellect, we create fear. And the fear makes us look outside for love. And bit by bit, we start to lose that internal connection to the point that it's completely external. So then we spend our whole lives trying to balance, control, seduce, change, achieve, conquer, whatever. And all of that comes from the root of fear or the tree of knowledge. Then we decide to come back to ourselves. We're going to return to paradise. I'm feeling very biblical today. Yes, wasn't a waste of time sending me to a church school. And we decide to come back to paradise. Where is paradise? It's in our hearts. It's in the Garden of Eden, which is within us, where the tree of life is. Yeah. And we're here, and we start to let go of the fear. Okay, and we start to heal the separation to the source of all love, which is within us. So the root stress is that separation. Yes, that separation. Now, what is my root stress? Some people remember. Some people remember the moment they stopped trusting and they experienced fear. I remember, but lots of people don't know. And it doesn't have to be something traumatic. It could be something so simple, but because there was no understanding, it created fear. Okay, so you don't have to find it. Why not? Because it's like a crack in the foundation, no? But you've built so much on top of it. It's like you have to go through so many things to find that. So the facets do that by themselves. They start to go in, and the building that's constructed on top starts to fall, and this starts to close. Okay, this is a very literal example. You know, you're a doctor, you know it's not that basic. But I'm trying to explain in simple terms how we come home to ourselves. Yeah, and then once we find complete unconditional love, our perception changes. The only thing that can change is us. And I said something today in the meeting. In order to love, you don't have to agree. You don't have to have the same belief systems, the basic principles. They can all be completely opposite. But because you don't need to control someone, you can love them unconditionally. And you'll get to a point where it doesn't matter how people are. You love them unconditionally. Yeah? So, that was much longer answer, but I'm on a roll today.
Sometimes when the things are happening in a relationship, sometimes I cannot see when to flow and when I am abandoning myself. I'm not clear about
this
that.
Is intellectual. You're thinking too much. It's very simple. I'm in the moment. I'm enjoying myself. I'm giving. And I'm speaking the truth. If I do that, I'm never abandoning myself. It's simple. In relationships, obviously you come to agreements. There's a certain amount of balance, no? But if you're doing it from love, and joy, you know. If you're abandoning yourself, it's, oh, okay. Yes, see me more. It can't be like that. It has to be from a place of love and giving, but not abandoning yourself. So how do you see it? It's energetic. You can see if you're pleasing. If they, you feel it. If you're present, you feel it. And it's very important in relationships to enjoy yourselves independently. You don't have to do everything together. And this is why it gets dense. You have to have your own experiences. You don't have to agree on everything. You don't have to be like Siamese twins. Because you need to separate. You need to be with yourself. And you have to do that from a place of empowerment. Energetically. It doesn't even matter if they're in another country. If you're energetically on top of each other because you're insecure, that affects it too. Always you have to be coming back to self. Here I am, letting go, enjoying myself, being in the moment. The thoughts shouldn't be there all the time. I know in soap operas, yes. But no, you have to be with you. And stop worrying that you're doing something wrong. Or those thoughts that, they're going to abandon me. They're not going to love me. Come back in. That's when you're abandoning yourself. Mature relationship with yourself and with the world. Did that answer the question? Not that you do any of that, no?
Can you explain a little bit more how to allow oneself to be more innocent?
It means you're not passing everything through your head. Why do we put everything through our heads? Because we're worried about what other people think. We're protecting our image. As we start to expand consciousness, we start to become more innocent. We start to be more in the moment. We start to love more openly. We start to expose ourselves and feel our emotions. We start to live in our hearts instead of in our heads. And that creates joy. So how do you do that? Firstly, you've got to be willing to look stupid. I don't care what people think. And I am stupid. I do crazy things and I think, oh shit, did you really say that? Doesn't matter. And you have to get to that point where you're free to be you. And it's a process, no? And then, like now, you wanted the microphone, but you're passive. You didn't get the microphone. And that's innocence. Like, I want it. Yeah, boom. Yeah? So it's just about not worrying about what other people think. And that comes from consciousness. Because I used to be exactly the opposite. I was shy. I used to drink to communicate. I used to question everything 1,000 times. I never felt my emotions. I was always wondering what people thought about me. And it was a torture. are scared of being abandoned, scared of not being loved, not being good enough. And these are basic human behaviours. And some people are more extreme than others. Usually people that are really sensitive are the worst, no? We really torture ourselves. You know, and it starts to go. It starts to leave. Until you just feel secure within yourself. But it's a process, no? It's not going to happen overnight.
Can you talk about the need of rescuing somebody or defending a cause or like being like after something to have the to attract attention, and then when there is a mistake to blame myself for that? The need of rescue or saving someone.
You know, I had a Mexican journalist.
Yo tenía una periodista mexicana.
And she said something to me. She said, someone said to her that fanaticism would destroy the world. And I looked at her and I thought, I don't know what she's talking about. You know, sometimes it just doesn't click, huh? Anyway, I went home and it come up again. Fanaticism, fanaticism, fanaticism will destroy the world. And I realized humans are so attached to their ideas, and also the idea of changing other people, saving other people, save the planet, save this, save that, save. And they're all very noble causes. And they're all a consequence of the expansion of consciousness. But when you obsess with them and you become attached to the idea, it's no different than Putin being attached to having a new country. It's the same thing. It's that attachment to the cause and the fight and being right and having control. And it's true, because we don't do anything from a place of empowerment with attachment or fanaticism, because only ideas need fanatic responses. Because the truth, reality, love doesn't have fanaticism. It's not attached to an idea. It's just the experience of love. So when you see that external behavior, you need to go in and find the fear. Because it always comes from internal fear. An idea and the need to be right. No matter how noble the cause is. If there's attachment, it's going towards fanaticism. If it's fanaticism, it's separation from self. The only person we can change is ourselves. We can speak our truths. We can go and join Greenpeace and pick up all the plastic bags. And that's something great. But when there's the attachment and the suffering, it's separation from self. An insistence that you do because I know what's good for you. If it has that attachment, it's not love. Love gives, let's go.
I can see that when there is more resistance in the body, we need a deep surrendering. And can you talk about that?
It just means that you don't have a no. Whatever it takes. And you just keep letting go, letting go, letting go. You know, we can surrender to anything because nothing in reality can affect God. But because we feel fragile and human and our egos are involved and we need to be right and we have to protect our image, it's very hard to just jump into the void. That's why it's so hard to get enlightened. Because you really have to jump with nothing. It's either that or nothing. And it's not so easy. It sounds easy. If you go and jump out of a plane, even if you have a parachute, the first time you think, why am I jumping out of a perfectly good plane? Because I came to 10,000 feet to jump. But it's totally against your nature. It's like the craziest thing you can do, even though you've got a parachute. So imagine you're jumping into the unknown and you don't have a parachute. That's enlightenment.
Lately, I'm with the issue that I'm entering the third age. I see that everywhere, in the people, the young ones, the old ones in me. Can you talk about it?
You know, let me think. You know, consciousness doesn't have an age. It's an idea in your head. I don't even think about it. I don't know why you're thinking about it. And you know, 60 now, it isn't old. Apparently, and he keeps telling me, who's 70. You know. But you know what I'm saying? It's an idea in your head. How do you feel? What's good about being this age? Firstly, you're mature. You're not an emotional idiot. Your hormones are under control. You're secure in yourself. You've got consciousness. You still feel young. You're still sexy. It's a great age. But consciousness doesn't have an age. It doesn't have an age. And it doesn't think about it. Because this is impermanent. You have to find that which is permanent and celebrate it. It's another thing that we flow with. Yeah, and don't use it as an excuse. The minute you start to use it as an excuse, it's all downhill. Okay? Just be positive and focus on your consciousness. Yeah. But take advantage, you know, if they give you 50% off because you're sexy, use it. Yeah.
This second time I'm here, and in the first one I left. Yes, I can. So I arrived back with another vibration, but as time passed, the stress catch me again. This time I would like it to be different.
But are you practicing when you go home? Or you come here, fix yourself, and then you start here and then, oh, I think I better go to the Isha system. You know, it's progressive. So it's simple. You have to keep doing it. You answered your own question. You have to do the practice an hour a day, be in the moment, Feed yourself consciousness. Read consciousness. Watch consciousness. It's very simple nowadays. You can put something in your ears while you're working. You know, remember, I have to be here, I use the facets, I'm getting stressed, I need to unify. You know, it's not you come to the ashram and you relax and you eat vegetarian and then you go back and do exactly what you were doing before. It's a process, and it's something that you incorporate in your life. Or it stops working. You go back to how you were. Not completely. But the stress comes again. You know, stress is a process. Because every day you accumulate stress. So you have to eliminate it every day too. And look for support. You know, this is what I love about these workshops that Annie does with the facilitators. It keeps you focused, you know, and remembering. Because you imagine the majority of everything external is not focused on consciousness. It's focused on drama and stress. Lots of nice things too. But to find that balance, you have to have the consciousness experience. Good.
I want to cry and I cannot. I don't know if I cried so much for many, many years. I try to come back to those memories I need to release, and suddenly I feel that they are not hurting me anymore. How?
Okay, you know what? You'll cry when you need to cry. The system works perfectly. The facets are working perfectly. You're looking for what's wrong. Okay? There's nothing wrong. You're expanded. You're having a good time. Well, stop looking to be miserable. Okay? No, just relax. You don't have to cry. It will come when it comes. And you're in your body. There's no reason why you're not crying, except for you don't need to cry. Okay? Good. You're not broken, don't worry.
Come visit our webpage for books, movies, and our wonderful retreat centers. Isha's simple yet powerful system is transforming lives around the world.